So whose wife will the wife of the seven brothers be after the resurrection from the dead? Isn't it a very strange question? And now we will talk about whether the Bible really describes a law according to which brothers could marry the same woman. So, let's start with an interesting dialogue between Christ and representatives of the Old Testament sect of the Sadducees. The Sadducees approached Christ and asked if he really preached the general resurrection of the dead. Then whose wife would the woman who, according to the law of Moses, married her husband's remaining 6 brothers after his death, be after death? Of course, in reality, such a situation could hardly occur, but women really had to become the wives of their husband's brothers. This happened if the deceased man did not leave behind a single son. In this way, the name of the deceased in his family was restored. A child from a relative was named after the deceased man. Such unusual traditions. That is, levirate marriage actually existed. It comes from the word levir, or husband's brother. But the brother's wife did not always become the beloved woman of the husband's brother. Add to this the fact that in those days, women did not earn money, and all the worries about them were first on the shoulders of the parents, and then the husband. Left without a husband and an heir, the widow had a very hard time. If the husband's brother accepted her into his home, this solved many problems. In addition, the woman gave birth to a son, who became her support in old age. But let's return to the situation when the husband's brother still refused to comply with the law. Here is how the Bible describes what should have followed. But if he will not take his brother's wife, then his brother's wife shall go to the gate to the elders and say, "My husband's brother refuses to restore his brother's name in Israel by refusing to marry me. Then the elders of his city shall call him and persuade him. And if he stands up and says, 'I do not want to take her,' then his sister-in-law shall go to him in the presence of the elders and pull his shoe off his foot and spit in his face and say, 'So shall they do to a man who does not build up his brother's house in Israel.' And they shall call his name in Israel, the house of the shoeless." That is such an interesting tradition. Yes, but whose wife will the wife of the 7 brothers be after the resurrection from the dead? Returning to the question that was asked of Christ, it is worth noting that the Sadducees were not concerned about the fate of wives from levirate marriages. They only wanted to ridicule the resurrection of the dead, since the Sadducees were a kind of sectarians who rejected both the existence of angels and the afterlife. That is, a kind of modern atheists. In the Gospel of Luke, Christ's full answer is written, and this is what he said to the Sadducees. Jesus answered and said to them, "The children of this age marry and are given in marriage. But whoever is able to attain that age and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage, and they can no longer die, for they are equal to the angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection." However, this does not mean, of course, that after the resurrection we will not have bodies or a division into men and women. We will. But that, as they say, is another story. And we will definitely tell you about it in the next issues.